me, does this come with a flight attendant?
Well, it comes with air conditioning, it comes with a stereo radio, but there's no flight attendant.
You have a boat that doesn't float and a plane that doesn't fly. Why?
I love a challenge. Building the boat was an incredible amount of fun. I got bored after a while, so I said I might as well try something different, and that was the plane car. This boat car took me a year to build this. To the state, it's known as a 1994 GMC Jimmy. Then I obtained this boat, a 97 Sea Ray. It sounds real easy, but it's not. Before I could even find the right vehicle, I went through 2 cars and 3 boats. I took a 1999 Chevy Tracker in the front, and I added on a 2003 Cirrus SR22. This guy on my right, he's slowing down, he's got his cell phone out, and he's videotaping. That's just a typical example.
I guess that's the biggest problem about this car is the attention you get.
A lot of attention. They don't leave you alone. They're all over the place. Hi, how are you?
I love
You like it?
I
I'm
do.
glad.
Obviously, you have to like people that have this car, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the swimming boat.
If you like talking to people, making friends with people you've never met before, enjoying the attention, then these are the vehicles for you.
There's one thing you want people to get out of this.
Happiness. I want them to enjoy it, drive down the road, enjoy the attention and the happiness that they're going to experience driving these vehicles. There's 2 ways of getting in. I prefer this way. I slide in.
Just tell me, does this come with a flight attendant?
Well, it comes with air conditioning, it comes with a stereo radio, but there's no flight attendant. And she runs fine. She runs really good on the expressway. I just couldn't get all the other people around me away from me so I could go faster.
I guess that's the biggest problem about this car is the attention you get.
A lot of attention. They don't leave you alone. They're all over the place. Like this guy on my right, he's slowing down, he's got his cell phone out, and he's videotaping. That's just a typical example.
Yeah, they've been following you. Is that typical? You have people stalking you and following you?
All right.
Yes,
We can
that is.
get out.
That is. Yes.
You following us all the way?
This is so cool.
So not only is it a fun vehicle to drive, but it's also a great vehicle to make money with. And no matter what you do, this vehicle won't depreciate in value. It's just a fun car. I've taken my son to school in this. I pulled into my son's school, his elementary school, and the principal came running out, and she thought that the plane had crashed in her driveway in front of the school. And I said, no, I'm just dropping my son off at school. I was driving the plane car just after I had it painted. And there was a lady in front of me, and we're doing about 65 miles an hour. And all of a sudden, she starts tapping her brakes and waving her hands. And I changed lanes, she changed lanes. But then I realized all she saw was an airplane aiming right for her with the propeller turning. And she thought I had crashed on 400 and I was going to run right up into her. And she ended up running off into the shoulder. Custom automobile. It's a boat car. So I took a GMC Jimmy and tore the entire body off of the SUV. Then I obtained this boat, a 97 Sea Ray. It's a 185 bow rider. This boat car took me a year to build this. Before I could even find the right vehicle, I went through 2 cars and 3 boats. What you see here is a 18.5-foot bow rider, and in the front where the seats were, I removed the seats and I put this diamond plate hood, expanded metal so air could get into the radiator and keep the engine cool. How you make it street legal, you have to have headlights, taillights, turn signals, a rear view mirror, side view mirrors. It has to have a horn. It has to have seat belts. To the state, it's known as a 1994 GMC Jimmy. A few times, I'm driving home and I have the police following me. And I pull into my driveway and I get out. I'm figuring, what did I do wrong? I get out, I walk over to the officers. I go, what's up? What did I do? They said, nothing. We're just excited about your boat car. Can you answer a few questions about it and Then I had some officers ask if they could pose in front of it. So I took pictures of them in front of my boat car. So I feel comfortable about driving it. A lot of people have asked me, how do you get in it? Where are the doors? And there are no doors. So they've asked me this so many times, I put on these fake door handles. Like any other boat, you get in with the ladder. I even put on a propeller.
How do you put the fuel in this?
Right over here, right on the side, right there. When it gets a little hot outside and I don't want to put the air conditioning on, I just open up my windshield like this. Angle my rear view mirror, and I got wind coming in. She's comfortable. I've got power seats, power steering, power brake, no power windows, no power door locks, no cruise control, but I got a radio, air conditioning, and a horn. This was all fabricated up here to bring in the boat into the vehicle itself, because this was a pass-through to where you could sit in the front as a boat. This was a GMC Jimmy, a four-door vehicle, and I ripped everything off of that car. The only thing I saved was the back seat, the front two seats, and the dash. Everything else is gone. It's just a comfortable vehicle. It's 3-in-1. It's a boat, it's a car, it's a convertible. People ask me if it floats, but I tell them I got a boat that doesn't float, and I got a plane that doesn't fly, but they sure do look good. I love boats, I love convertibles, and I love cars, and I figured I'd put all three together, make them into one. And got a lot of enjoyment by driving this car, because a lot of people are looking at it and staring at it, and I'm proud that I built something unusual, and a lot of people have referred to this as a piece of art.
It is a piece of art.
And it's a one of a kind. And I just enjoy driving it.
How much are you selling this boat for?
I'm not asking a lot for it, because if I were to ask for the amount of labor and sweat I put into this car, it took me a year to build it. A lot of sleepless nights, a lot of money, and I'm only asking $55,000 for it.
$55,000.
And you know, it's great for people that want to use it to go out to dinner with, or go to church with it, or go to synagogue with it. I think it's a great advertising machine. People like Arthur Blank of the Falcons, if he got a hold of something like this with the red and black body on it, parading it around Atlanta, promoting the Falcons, it would draw a lot of attention. The same thing goes for the Bulldogs.
People follow you often, like today?
Yes, I have people following a lot. Like the two police officers that followed me home to just take pictures of it. I had two police officers follow me home. I'm looking in my rearview mirror thinking, what did I do wrong? I'm street legal, everything's working. And I pull into my driveway and I get out. I walk up to them, I go, what's the deal? What did I do wrong? He goes, no, you didn't do anything wrong. We're fascinated by your boat car. We want to take pictures of your boat car, and maybe you can answer a few questions, tell us how you built it. And I told them, and then they asked me if I could take their cell phone and have them pose in front of my boat car in front of my house. I said, no problem.
I feel like I'm in a parade float.
Yeah.
Just going down the road in a parade float.
Driving in a boat car is like being in a parade all the time. I took a 1999 Chevy Tracker in the front, and I kept the hood, the fenders, the grill, and I removed everything else from the rest of the truck. And I added on a 2003 Cirrus SR22. And for those of you who don't know much about these aircrafts, they're fiberglass. They cost about $800,000. And Cirrus is the only airplane that has its own built-in parachute. If the pilot has a problem with his engine and he feels like he's going to crash, he pulls the ripcord. And right in this area, there's a rocket. The rocket shoots through this fiberglass body, and out comes the parachute. The parachute gets deployed, and you never die owning a Cirrus SR22. The whole constructed piece is 23 feet long. But the problem I had is the tails. This tail stuck out about another 20 inches. So I had to cut it back so that the vehicle would sit and drive in a lane. And this tail was sitting out too much, so I cut the tail back and I took the rudder off because that was rattling around. And in order to make this vehicle street legal, I had to put taillights in. So it has taillights in the rear, both sides, obviously. And right up here in the middle is an LED brake light. The fuel tank was on the side where you would pump your gas. So I had to reroute it and build this. It's called a dummy wing. I made it look like a wing even though it's not. So I rerouted the fuel tank so you could add gas right near the wing.
How many miles a gallon?
I get about 20, 22 miles per gallon. Show you how you enter the plane. It's got the gull wing doors. And when I built this, the GMC Jimmy I purchased was four-wheel drive. So this is a really one-of-a-kind plane car with four-wheel drive. So if you get stuck in the snow or the mud, you can get out with it.
You can go mudding in there.
And go mudding in an airplane. It's got stereo radio, it's got ice-cold air conditioning, power steering, power brake, and it's got the back seat.
Tell me about the propeller.
Well, this was a last-minute feature I wanted to add on to the plane car, was a propeller. I pulled this propeller off of a Cessna aircraft, and I had the blades cut back shorter so it wouldn't rip on the ground. And when you go driving down the road, the propeller spins just with the wind.
So I'm here with Mark Ray, and he builds some of the most interesting things. You have a boat that doesn't float and a plane that doesn't fly. Why?
Well, I love a challenge. Building the boat was an incredible amount of fun. I got bored after a while, so I said I might as well try something different, and that was the plane car. Some of my next ventures will probably be a flying saucer with a steam tank coming out and LED lighting spinning around and a bubble top roof that's bulletproof so nobody shoots me. And what I'm working on right now is an airplane limousine. It's 32 feet long. The tail will sit 12 feet above the ground. It'll seat 7 people. I'm putting in hardwood flooring, mirrored ceiling, fiber optic lighting, and a full bar refrigerator. It's just going to be filled with all the bells and whistles, and looking forward to taking that out on the open road.
Of all things, why this?
Well, I have a passion for automobiles, and my fiance encouraged me to get involved in doing something that I can earn a living with and enjoy. And I love cars, and I love her.
When we were out today, we saw a lot of people pulling this over. Obviously, you have to like people to have this car, right?
Yes. If you don't like people, and you don't enjoy talking to people, don't buy this. But if you like talking to people, making friends with people you've never met before, enjoying the attention, then these are the vehicles for you. I had no idea what I was doing, and I went through 2 automobiles and 3 boats before I finally figured out the way to build this. And then after I built it, my daughter Brianna said to me, "Daddy, you seem like you're bored with the boat car. Why don't you build something else?" I said, "I already have something in mind," and sure enough, it was the plane car, and finally got it done. And I'm proud of both pieces. They're like a piece of art to me. They're one of a kind, they're unusual, and they're both up for sale. I started a business, Mark's Custom Cruisers, and I'm building them and selling them to people to use for advertising or just personal enjoyment.
There's one thing you want people to get out of this when they see these.
Happiness. I want them to enjoy it, drive down the road, enjoy the attention, and experience it with their family and their friends. And I want them to be the center of attention.